Welcome to episode number 5 of Bragg Bout Business, brought to you by Cowboy Trail Brewery. Cheers to the West. This week on Bragg Bout Business, RPG, River People Guides. Oz Hamzic joins us at his new retail fly shop in Bragg Creek. We are very excited to feature RPG on the podcast, as it is one of our newest businesses in the hamlet, just opening up this past April. Oz is one of those truly great Canadian immigrant stories. He covers his time growing up in war-torn Bosnia, finding his way to Canada in search of the mountain life, serving in the Canadian Armed Forces, and finding his passion in guiding and fly fishing. This man's living his dream, and he chose Bragg Creek to call his business home. Enjoy! This week on Bragg Bout Business, we have Oz Hamzic from River People Guides. So RPG.
That's right.
How are you doing today, Oz?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're one of the newest businesses in Bragg Creek.
That's correct. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks now since we opened up, and still smells like new.
It does.
So yeah,
Yeah.
come on over.
It smells awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Remember on opening day, it was very snowy.
Yes.
Yeah.
To say the least, it was the biggest snowstorm of the year, and I chose that to be my grand opening date. So
Making memories, man. You're
making
memories.
exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I was surprised. People still showed up, and even though when I made a video, I made an announcement saying today might not be the best day due to the unsafe driving conditions, and maybe come tomorrow, but people still showed up.
They still showed up. They're excited.
Yeah,
They're excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, this is a nice shop, nice addition to the community, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about River People Guides. The shop is new,
Yes.
but not necessarily the company.
Correct. Yeah. So I was guiding. I opened up a guiding service only as River People Guides, and been doing that for about a decade. And the guiding encompassed Alberta. So like was guiding on the Bow River and the Livingston, the Old Man, all those mountain streams. So that's how that started off. And at some point I just got old tired of telling my clients to meet me at the Walmart parking lot. So I was like, this needs to change. And as the time progressed, I was also growing and people were talking about me. And it just felt like a natural thing for me to have my own fly shop. That was, kind of the deciding factor. I always wanted a fly shop, and I did have the opportunity to open it up in the city, but it's just like the fly shop and city doesn't go hand in hand. I felt like Bragg Creek was the right location for it. I just like the energy here of the community, and you're in the front ranges of the Rockies.
Exactly.
You got the Elbow River flowing right through it, and it just felt, in my opinion, that Bragg Creek needed a fly shop.
Absolutely.
So it took me, I think, about 2 years until I got a spot to get in here, because there's not that many people. The turnover rate is not as high as it is in the city.
Yeah.
Once people are in, they stay in.
Exactly.
And luckily I was talking to Ben from the Rockies Tavern, and he's like, "Oh, I'll introduce you to Ralph." And so Ralph is like, "Oh yeah, that's great. The fly shop would be awesome in here."
Yeah.
So I kept checking in with Ralph on a monthly basis. I'm like, "Hey, did anything open up? Did anything open up?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No." And then finally he's like, "Oh, there might be something." And then I'm like, "All right, there's
your opportunity. So how long did you have to wait for an opening?
I think it was about a year for this spot. I was looking in the area for other places, and things didn't work out.
Not a lot of real estate for rent.
Yeah, exactly. And if there is an opening, you have probably like 10 people applying for one spot.
Yeah, that's right.
And so anyways, I got lucky. Got in here just on time, and just on time before the season, which is perfect.
Excellent timing.
Yeah, it gives me time to iron out and some of the things that are not configured as they should be, and get my ducks in the row before
get the kinks worked out.
Peak of the season.
So you're anticipating a good season this year?
I think so. Yeah. As the time progresses, I'm also growing, and every year I can see, the curve going up with my bookings for guided
Excellent.
trips. And I'm on a couple of platforms where people can book me from anywhere from the world.
Nice.
So, like, I've been fortunate to guide people from all over the world pretty much.
That's excellent.
And hoping to contribute to the community in that way, bring
Yes.
those people here,
Right.
get Bragg Creek the exposure that it deserves.
Absolutely. Well, most of your clientele to date so far, have they been mostly international, or have they been like residents of Alberta?
It's
A mix.
yeah, it's a mix of things for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say 50 to 60% are American based, traveling
Okay.
through.
Yeah.
Some of those turn into regulars because they'll be here for business meetings, or they
Sure.
just like Canada, and they can't beat the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
US versus
Exactly.
Canadian dollar.
Exactly.
So they're here for that. And then you get the locals. They've also been very supportive. I have my regulars that I've been guiding over many years, and they keep coming back. So that tells me that I'm doing something right.
Absolutely.
They're coming
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, you're such a nice guy. I can imagine spending the day on the river with you would be, very enjoyable.
I don't know. I have a lot of dad jokes. That's what my daughter tells me. She's like, "Dad, you need to work on your jokes." I was like, "Okay, point taken." I do warn the clients. It's the small print in the waiver form. You are stuck with my bad jokes for the entirety of the trip if the fishing is low.
That's good. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is. One of the questions I like to ask everybody that comes on the show is, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Well, for a guy who hikes, who hunts, who guides fly fishing, I haven't seen any.
Well, you would know.
Yeah,
You've been out there
I
all
would
the
know
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of merchandise with the Bigfoot's the picture in it. So
How did you become aware of Bragg Creek? You've been guiding here for 10 years. How did you end up in Canada?
Well, that's I don't know, how long is this podcast? Do you have time? I'll try
Sounds
to.
like a story. Then.
Yeah, I'll try to give you the short version of how I ended up here. So, as you can tell by my accent, that I wasn't born in Canada. So I was born in Bosnia, and then when the war broke out, we became refugees. So we had to flee the country, and we ended up in Sweden.
Okay.
So we lived there for a bit, and parents decided that we need to go to Germany because some of the family members were escaping into Germany, and Germany was closer to Bosnia compared to Sweden. So we moved to Germany, and then ended up staying there for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay, and how old were you been at that time?
So that was between the age of 9 to 17. Lived there. When the war was done, the German government was like, well, you guys need to go back. The war is done. And meanwhile, we're like, go back where? The house is destroyed.
Yeah.
We have nowhere to go back to. Kind of like, well, TFB, know. Yeah, you have to go back, leave the country. Luckily, there was an organization that was taking Bosnian refugees. You could choose where you can go. It was Australia, US, and Canada. And my parents decided to go to Canada. And, but that was, I think it took us, like I was telling you earlier, it was a year-long process of going through all the kinds of testing,
red tape,
making sure that you're medically fit and that your history is clean. And so that was about a year-long process before we got finally admitted to go to Canada. And my whole life, I wanted to live in the mountains. Even as a kid, I was fascinated by mountains. And then, so leaving Bosnia, we going to Sweden. I'm like, oh, sweet, there's gonna be
beautiful there too.
In Sweden, yeah. No, we lived on the ocean, no mountains. And then we're like, the parents said that, we're going to Germany, and I'm like, okay, the Alps, this is it.
Right. Yeah.
Again, we moved to the ocean, surrounded by water, which was nice, but no mountains. I'm like, oh my God. And then 8 years later, they're like, okay, we're going to Canada. This is it. This has to be it. I'm going to the Rockies. Yeah. Well, guess where we landed first?
Regina?
Nope. Close though. Saskatoon.
All right.
Like, where are the mountains? We're in Canada. So that didn't happen there either. And then we stayed in Saskatoon for a year. And then we moved out to Ontario. And again, no mountains in Ontario. And then when we moved out to Ontario, I joined the Canadian Forces, and I did a few things with the Canadian Forces, and one of them was I made it to the National Army Gun Race Team. It's basically they do a selection. Your unit will volunteer you to go and try out for this program, and if you make it, you get to travel with this team around Canada. You get to compete. So they split you up into two teams, and so you have the red team and the black team, and you race each other throughout Canada. It's the same team, but you have to disassemble on a howitzer, and then you have to, yeah, all those pieces that you have taken apart, you have to put it on this traversing system that simulates you crossing a river with the howitzer. So you're sending these pieces one by one, and then whoever puts the gun together on the opposite side and fires off a blank round is the winning team. So, we did that at a couple of the events throughout Canada, and we ended up doing something in Calgary. And one of the exercises was that we had to do something in the mountains too. So they took us to Canmore. Like, I got my mountains now. I found it. Yeah, I found the mountains, and I just ever since I came here, I was fascinated. I was like, this is where I want to be, and I told my buddies in the green uniform, this is it for me, boys. I'm tapping out after 7 years. So I ended up staying here. I got fascinated by the whole nature side of things. You got the mountains, the drink clear water, and all that. So I was out hiking every day, and stumbled across Bragg Creek, and I loved this area, and then saw the rivers, and then the alpine lakes and all that. Right,
it's gorgeous.
It's
gorgeous.
Yeah,
and so close to the city.
So you have the best of two worlds.
Yeah,
you got the city life, and if you want to get out and do amazing hiking, mountaineering, you got it like half an hour drive.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the deciding factor for me to stay here and come to this area. And the fly fishing started as a part of me exploring the mountains. You see when you're hiking, and you get to see all these beautiful spots and the rivers, and like I said, the mountains and all that. But it didn't satisfy my curiosity. I'm still like that little child that I want to be able to touch everything. I want to see the frog. I want to pick it up. I want to grab it, So it didn't, there is still something about my curiosity that wasn't satisfied when I was doing that. So I saw a guy fly fishing. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I know how to do this. Like, as a kid, I've done it. And
so you fly fish when you were
I've my whole life pretty much. But as time progresses, you take breaks, and
sure, of course, different interests.
You start meeting girls and all that.
Party, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
And then there was no fishing done in the army too. So there was a long break there. But then I saw this person cast, and just watching him move that line, it was just,
it's beautiful.
This was it for me. And I was like, so I started doing that, and that's what I feel fly fishing does for me. It satisfies my curiosity for, as cheesy as it sounds, for being one with nature.
Yeah, it is. It's so peaceful.
It's peaceful. It's therapeutic. Nothing else exists once you start casting. And catching fish is just a bonus. But just to be out in a beautiful setting like what we have, and just cast and get yourself into the water and immersed in that environment, I think that's special.
That is special. Absolutely. So is A River Runs Through It your favorite movie, or?
Sorry, what is that?
A River Runs Through It? Yeah.
Just joking. Yeah. Every fly angler knows that movie.
It is.
Yeah. I even make a reference to when I'm coaching people how to cast. And certain casts are not going to be like your Brad Pitt casts.
Yes.
So I'm like, this is not going to be your Brad Pitt cast. Yeah. So, and I reference to the River Runs Through It movie.
That movie was filmed in 1992.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
That's crazy.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And filmed just south in Montana.
Yeah.
That's kind of
that movie did a lot for the fly fishing world. I feel like it got a lot of people curious.
Certainly did, I remember seeing it when I was a kid, because I loved fishing when I was a young boy. And I was like, I can't, but I lived in Manitoba.
Yeah.
Landlocked. We had lakes, but not really great rivers for doing fly fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, but fly fishing is getting big in that world too. Like people do fly fish for bass and pike now a
Yeah,
lot. So it's, first it was just for trout, and I feel like it kind of progressed its way, even though it was existing prior to when it became really popular. But saltwater fly fishing.
yes. This I'm familiar with, bone fishing and that kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
so then that got a lot of exposure, and I feel like now people from the eastern parts of the world, in North America, they are getting into the bass and the pike and all those kind of species on the fly rod. So it's growing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
still growing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So talk a little bit more about the programming that you offer
Okay.
at RPG.
We got lots of trips, programs that we're offering. So in terms of guiding, we do offer half-day, full-day trips on the Bow River from a drift boat. That includes all the fly fishing gear, snacks, non-alcoholic drinks. We'll also serve a hot lunch halfway through the trip.
Nice.
I'll bring a little portable barbecue with me and set that up. And yeah, so people appreciate that. So half day, full days on the Bow River. Then I also do walking weights in the eastern slopes there.
So walking weights.
Yes, we'll go for a hike, and we're hiking along the river as we're casting and trying to catch whatever it is that we're after, whether it's bull trout or cutties or rainbows and things like that. It's a neat way if you want to, get the both
kind of
combine it. Yeah, the hiking and the fishing. So that's one part, and then the new trip that I've introduced this year is the raft fishing on the Elbow River. So that's what I'm the most excited about.
It looks really cool. I saw some pictures you posted online. I'm like, you can take a boat down there? Yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah, the time frame in a year is really small, and I think people should take advantage of that. But it's amazing. You can see the fish. People go to Patagonia to experience something that what we have in the backyard.
Steps away.
I'm surprised that none of the other guides has explored that part. So I'm the only guide who's doing it now. I'm sure it's gonna change next year.
Well, the word's out. Oh yeah.
The word's out, but that's how things go. But yeah, it's amazing. Like you get amazing scenery. Fishing is great, and don't get me wrong. The Bow River is known as the Blue Ribbon River. The trout fishing is amazing there, but especially with beginners, you just have to get them onto the nymphing ring, which means you're fishing subsurface. You're looking at the strike indicator for the entirety of the trip. Where if you go on the Elbow River, maybe I shouldn't say the name. If you go on the Alpine River,
we can edit that out.
Yeah, edit that out. Yeah. You get to fish with dry flies, which means I don't know if you're familiar.
No, please.
Yeah,
because I don't know, and probably a lot of our listeners may not either.
Okay, so with fly fishing, you have the opportunity to target fish that are feeding in 3 columns. So you get the top column, which is used with dry flies. So the dry fly is essentially floating on the surface, and you can see the fish come up. Take your fly.
This is what I'm familiar with.
Yes, and that is why people get into fly fishing for the most part, because it's the most fun way to fish. It's most engaging. You can see the trout, you can see your fly, and it's all visual, right? So I would say why 99% of the people get into fly fishing because of dry fly fishing. Now, the other method is called streamer fishing. So you are casting out imitation of juvenile fish.
Okay.
Or it could be leeches or anything that swims in the middle column. So anything that's moving in the water that has more protein. So that's called streamer fishing. And then the bottom fishing is called nymphing. So you'll have these small nymphs that are weighted, whether it's a tungsten bead or just a regular brass bead, and you can put split shots on top or the bottom. So with nymphing, essentially they're just bouncing off the bottom. And then you have a bobber or a strike indicator. So you have to be careful if you call it a bobber. People in the fly fishing world will get...
They get puckered up on that.
They'll get a little bit, salty about it. So, and that's essentially like if the indicator goes down, it's letting you know that the fish has taken your nymph,
very cool.
Or that you're hung up on the bottom. So you have to set the hook either way. Yeah. So that's those three different methods that are predominantly used. Now,
Okay.
with nymphing, they say 70 to 80% of the time trout will feed on nymphs.
Oh, is that right? So bottom.
Bottom,
No
yes.
All right.
So if when I'm getting clients that never held a fly rod in their life, and I do send out a questionnaire, and in that questionnaire, like I have a couple of questions regarding what are your expectations for this trip. Do you want to learn about casting? Do you want to learn about entomology? Do you want to learn about reading the water? You want to learn about what are the different methods of fly fishing that we use on the river that we're at? Or do you want to catch lots of fish, or do you want to catch the biggest fish? And even most of them that didn't held a fly rod ever in their life, I want to catch the most fish and I want to catch the biggest fish. It's like, okay, those are not realistic expectations.
Can't have both.
Yeah, exactly. But so what most guides will do, they will set you up on an nymph rig, because you're in the service industry, right? You want to provide them what they're looking for,
Exactly.
especially if they're coming from somewhere overseas. And
Give the people what they want.
yes, yeah, and that's kind of like the biggest thing within the guiding world. Well, or you're just getting them on a nymph, you're not really teaching them how to cast. I was like, yeah, you spent a whole day teaching them how to cast. You're yelling at them the entire day. They didn't have fun. They didn't catch any fish, and that's their experience, and they're never gonna come back.
The review will be good.
Yeah, exactly. But those are the purists, right?
Sure.
There's a lot of purists in the fly fishing world. Oh, you have to do this. Well, it's kind of like, calm down. Let's take a step back and give the people what they're paying you to provide to them. So what ends up happening is most of these people end up with a nymph rig, and they're looking at the indicator, catching fish. It's not that dry fly fishing that everyone wants to experience. Dry fly fishing, especially on the Bow River, can be tough. And certainly if you can't cast your flies, and if you're struggling with casting, there's times where we can get away with it. But for the most time, you're getting them on an nymph rig. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because on the Elbow River, you can get away with giving a beginner a dry fly setup, and they can get that full experience where they can see the trout come up to their fly. They'll hammer it, and then these guys will fight it, and then you're surrounded by mountains, gin clear waters.
Gorgeous.
So nothing beats it. It's my personal favorite.
Excellent. I was going to ask you where your favorite fishing spot was, or river.
Yeah.
I won't tell the exact. I want to ask you exactly where it is.
It's the Alpine River.
It's the Alpine River.
Yeah. But anything in the mountains. And my thing is, I love rowing boats. And as you know, we have rafts, we have drift boats, we've got jet boats. So no water is safe from us. We can take him to any type of water. Yeah. But rowing a raft in a pristine setting like what we have.
There's something cathartic about that.
Nothing beats it. And they all have their pros and cons. But just when you're out in an alpine setting and you're rowing the boat and fishing, and like I said it many times, this is my retirement plan. I want to do this until my joints can't no more.
Oh my goodness!
So
fantastic. When your joints hurt, just go stand in the cold water.
Might have to do the walk and wade trips more, or get the youngsters to do it.
Yeah. It is a beautiful spot. We spent last summer. We spent some time down on the Elbow, just on a nice rocky shore. Kind of spent the afternoon there, and there was a gentleman down fishing. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yes,
it's just so peaceful to watch.
Yeah,
and the trout are jumping in the river like feet from us.
Yeah,
you get in and you duck your head under the water, and you can actually you see stuff going on down
them
there.
For sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I have some friends who are in the national fly fishing team for Canada.
Okay.
Some of them have told me that in their opinion, and they get to fish all over the world.
No doubt.
They say that the Alpine River that we have in Bragg Creek is the best dry fly fishery in North America, in their opinion.
Wow.
And I haven't fished much of the U.S., so I'm not qualified to say that. But from the rivers that I have fished, I think it's it's up there
It's
for
up there
sure.
for sure. Yeah. Wow, it's
Exactly.
just it's so accessible. It's so beautiful. Appreciate what you're bringing to Bragg Creek. I think you're going to bring a lot of international tourists to the hamlet and a lot of offshoot business from that too. So
Yeah,
that's a
and that's
great thing.
exactly the intent. Having a fly shop is all about a community. It's not just a place where you can purchase rods and flies.
Right.
We put a strong focus on being the hub for meeting like-minded individuals and just hanging out, exchanging information and knowledge. And at the end of the day, we're selling experiences. We're selling,
Exactly.
the joy. So I think that's unique to what the others are doing.
Well, I mean, you think of Bass Pro Shop,
Right.
Cabela's, and those kinds of. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the Walmart of
Yeah.
outdoor gear stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
And most of the time, you'll get people who don't really know much about fly
they're
fishing.
they're in retail. That's it.
Exactly. But that's kind of like what I want is it's all about the community with the fly shop. And I think Bragg Creek is the perfect fit here. I've been getting so much support from everyone. It's overwhelming.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's a great business community. Everybody, it's a close knit. They all talk. They all support each other.
Yeah, the other day I went to the post office and I was just trying to get something copied over, get a few copies for one of the courses that we're doing in May, and they couldn't do it for whatever reason. Shout out to Seth and Julie. They were there. They're like, "Oh, we'll just print it at our house. We'll bring it back to you." I was like, "Really? You're gonna do it?" It's like, "Yeah. How many copies do you want?" I was like, "I don't know, 5." So yeah, they just did it, and they came back and dropped off, and I was like, yeah, you don't get to experience this in the city,
No, you don't.
So it's pretty cool.
Let's talk about your shop. You got a beautiful shop. The gear that you have in here is wicked cool.
Thank you.
You must have a lot of great vendors.
Yeah, I kind of tend to sell what I've tested myself, and being the guide and being out there every day almost. I like to sell things that are functional and that are also visually appealing. Yeah. As in the Army we used to call it the LCF. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Look cool factor.
Yeah.
It's all about the look cool factor.
It is. Look the part. Well, I want to get some stuff. I'm just going to walk around town.
I'm a strong believer. If you look good, you feel good. I mean, you look good, you feel good, you're going to do good.
And you're comfortable.
Yeah, you're comfortable. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you do carry a lot of functional clothing.
100%. Yeah, no, if I was just joking, but like if it's not functional, if it just looks cool, I'm not going to have it. It's got to have a function. It's got to be purposeful to any of the outdoor activities. Like we sell a lot of sun shirts.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of those. It's a game changer. Like if whatever it is that you're doing outdoors in a short sleeve shirt, and you haven't tried the sun shirts, like, please, just try it. Absolutely. It's going to change your life. It keeps you cool. They're dry quick. We've got wading stuff, wading gear, jackets, everything.
And you're even getting into some camping stuff too, right?
Correct, yes. As I've alluded in this discussion that I'm an avid hiker too. We have these ultralight products from Big Agnes and,
Big Agnes?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so they are, they're pretty big in the hiking world, especially for those people that are thru hikers. My girlfriend is a thru hiker, so she's hiked the CDT, the GDT. Essentially, those are hikes from U.S.-Mexico border to U.S.-Canada border and more into Canada.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so she's out there for 3 months. And
so you need lightweight gear.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of why we have Big Agnes, and we are doing the overnight trips too, sometimes for like 4 or 5 days. It is that we're just going on a hike, or if there's an objective to fish a certain lake that's in the alpine environment or a river, having ultralight stuff makes a difference.
Oh, I imagine it would, yeah.
You're not exhausted at the end of your trip.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's coming from a guy who served in the Canadian Forces where ultralight was not existent. They'll just give you a bag of...
if anything, to make it extra heavy for you.
Yeah, my God. Like you have a 120-pound bag and you're carrying for days. So the ultralight stuff is super sweet.
That would be, yeah. And you have quite the fly selection in the back too.
Yeah. We
put some pictures up for everybody to see. That
flies, rods, carry EFO, Orvis, and Echo rods. Those are the main brands that we're gonna be carrying in the shop.
Nice.
and great rods, lifetime warranties.
Oh, wow.
So I was lucky to get on board because it's not easy starting out business. It's not easy to get on board with brands that are well known.
Totally. They
Yeah,
want probably minimum spends and that kind of
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that did help me though, I was on their pro program before I opened up the fly shop being a guide. So
Okay.
I had some validity in their eyes. And so that helped. It's not easy. We got that
Yeah.
covered now. We got the tariffs to worry about and
Right.
great time to have a fly shop business.
Yeah.
I think there's ways around it and we'll still make it
We'll
work.
still make it. And is a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff sourced out of the US right now or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially with certain brands like Corvus, they make their rods in the US.
And
So
have they been hit with tariffs already? They have, eh?
yes, they have been, but I was lucky when I think it happened that all my stuff got shipped during that 1 week period where it was kind of like in that
Up in the
gray
air.
area, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
going to get implemented or not. So I was able to squeeze some of those products through without having the tariffs.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there is a few things that I did have to cancel.
It's a chaotic time right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shifting and pivoting and duck the
Yeah,
punches and
exactly.
avoided. Yeah,
So on the tariffs that you have seen or would see if you got a shipment into Canada, are we looking at 25% or
correct.
25?
Yeah, 25%. Yeah.
Jeepers.
And even with a lot of these reps, they're like, well, we're just going to cancel this from your order because it doesn't make sense. No one's going to buy a old for $500 that usually is like $100 or something
Right.
like that.
Yes.
So it's not a good business
No.
model to have.
No,
So
exactly.
yeah, luckily some of these vendor reps they're looking out for you and
That's good.
yeah,
That's a good rep.
yeah, you don't just get this hefty bills like whoa, what's
Yeah,
going
a
on
big
here?
shock. So for a newbie, like take me for example, what would it take for me to get geared up to go out on the river?
You
No.
asked me earlier about what we offer, so I deviated from it. But so
That's
I
okay.
gave you the trips that we offer, and one of the trips that I didn't mention is the we also do hosted destination trips to Argentina. So people that want to fish in Patagonia,
Oh my goodness.
we can send them out there. There's about
Fantastic.
8 lodges that people can choose to go to, so they can fish for golden dorados, sea run brown trout, and yeah, it's essentially all inclusive. You have accommodation is taken care of, food and guiding.
Nice.
So there's a couple of packages that you can choose. But yeah, it's one of those once in a lifetime
No
opportunities for you to
doubt.
go there and get taken care of by these guys. And the other aspect is the lessons that we provide.
Yes.
So going back to what you just asked is, so where would you start? So usually we recommend fly fishing 101 course. We have fly fishing 101, 201 and 301 courses for people that are just starting out. And then we have casting clinics, reading the water. We also, another thing that I've done, and I'm a bad sales guy here, but I've created a fly fishing masterclass app.
Ah.
So within this app, there's 3 modules to it. So there's one module is for people, which is the main module. It's for people that want to get into the guiding world of fly fishing. So there's an online program that they have to go through. They have to study
This is
it
for guiding.
strictly for guiding. Yeah.
Okay.
So the boat, they have to be well versed with all the fly fishing methods and all that stuff that's pertaining to being a good guide is listed in this one.
Okay. This would be for like people that they're already doing fly fishing, but they want to get into guiding.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So they'll go through the curriculum. We'll test them when they're ready, and there's a practical test and theoretical test.
Oh, okay.
And when they're ready, we'll give them all certificates, and they can guide. And
Wow.
whether that's they want to guide with us, or they want to guide for someone else, or if they want to even try to go on their own, that's also an option for them.
Okay.
And we'll support them throughout the whole journey that they're trying to do. Whether it's
Very cool.
yeah, if they're trying to open up their own business, we have some tips on what to do and how to create websites and
So it's a bit of a mentorship.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's nice.
So the app is called FFM. You can download it or you can look it on your computer
All
up
right.
and study it. And, so that's the one module to become a guide. The other module is for people that are just starting out in the fly fishing world, so it just got the basics in there. So if you don't want to take one of the courses that we provide here in the shop, you have the opportunity to study on your own and give it a shot. And that all happened during COVID time. I was like, oh, now everyone's online doing this. No one wants to meet, or no one can
Yeah,
meet.
of
So
course. No, exactly.
yeah, that's the thing that I came up with, and I've put this together. So there's that part for people that want to become more familiar with fly fishing. And then the third module is fly tying. So I have some really good fly tyers that I've collaborated with.
That's an art form in itself.
Yes, exactly. With fly fishing, the learning curve never stops. There's always more to learn.
No kidding.
Whether it's you're starting off with casting, and then you'll get into the entomology part,
Yeah.
learning about
I found that
insects.
fascinating because you mentioned that the other day to me.
Yeah,
Certain bug hatches on the river.
absolutely.
You got like a 3-week window.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
obviously you want to match
The hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Match.
yeah. If you want to be a proficient angler, you have to familiarize yourself with the entomology part. A lot of people get kind of overwhelmed by it, but it's once you get into it, it's fun.
Yeah.
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 So you get to know about that, and reading the water, where the trout are holding. You have to be able to differentiate prime lice from feeding lice. And there's a specific course that we're running, and it's called Reading Water 101. So we'll take a walk by the river, and we'll talk about the different spots where the trout are holding, where they're feeding.
That's cool.
Yeah, so things like that. So that's all in the app. One thing that I've been doing throughout the years of guiding is I would ask my clients, especially the beginners. So because sometimes you spend like 8+ hours.
Sure.
So you just start chatting about everything and nothing. And
Yeah.
one of my questions was that, what do you think is the biggest problem in the fly fishing industry? And like 90% of them will say it's intimidating. They've been to a fly shop where they've asked a question and they got laughed at by the employees there, or something.
Yeah, that's not good.
Condescending was said. That's what I want to avoid.
Well, that's what I appreciate about you. You're very relaxed.
Yeah.
Very down to earth.
Thank you. For the people that are going to be working in the shop, that's going to be one of the fireable offenses. If
as it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they're being condescending to somebody who has questions as a beginner, and which you should have a lot of questions.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, you're not going to be here for a long time. That's what I want to bring across, and let people know that this is a welcoming environment. If you have any questions when you're starting out, come talk to us. We'll do our best to point you in the right direction. Yeah, you have a few options. You can come to the shop. You can go to our FFM app, or you can book one of the workshops that we're running in person out of the fly shop. And
that's great. So is RPG, is it just you, or do you have employees and people that work with you too?
It's just me. However, I do have friends that are helping out.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not partnered up with anyone. I'm doing.
So this is all your sweat equity.
Yes, exactly. You're looking at the HR person, the guide, the carpenter, the electrician,
the cook,
the marketing person. I do have to, let's say that I'm pretty fortunate that I have some friends who are really supportive.
That's awesome. Yeah, we met some of them when you had the grand opening.
Yes, yeah. So they're also guides.
That's handy.
Yeah. Who else better to work in a fly shop than a guide for somebody who actually puts his knowledge to the test on a daily basis? Shout out to my girlfriend. She's been also very supportive throughout the entire process.
That's awesome. What's her name?
Megan. Yes.
Is this her card here?
Yes. She's going to be doing the hiking trips. She's just in the process of obtaining her certification for the guiding part. She is a savage when it comes to hiking. I thought I was a strong hiker. And, when we started dating, I was like, whoa, I served in the military. I did this, I did that. We went on a hike. I wish I would have never told her any of that. I was done. Yeah, she totally kicked my ass. It was like 30, 40 kilometers that we did. And I'm like, let's just set up a tent here to spend the night. She's like, no, we can do this ridge and we can traverse here and we can look over there. Yeah, she'll do like 100Ks a day. And she's also the first woman, she and her friend, did the extension of the GDT. So they're the first females that have done that stretch. And she's, I think, a perfect addition to do these guided hiking
Yes,
trips.
absolutely.
So that's another thing that we're trying to do as well out of the fly shop.
Very cool. Happy Trails hiking.
Yes, Happy Trails
Well,
hiking.
setting up your business in Bragg Creek in the mall here. So you're in the main plaza. What was that whole experience like? You obviously there's permitting involved and those kinds of things. Getting set up from start to finish, how long did it take you? The challenges you may have seen?
I did try to set up a fly shop in another spot in Bragg Creek. So I was familiar with the process, what that entails in terms of getting the permits, getting guiding, getting the rental permits and anything like that. It was pretty straightforward with the Rocky View County. I was warned that it can be a lengthy process. And so
Yeah, it depends on what you're up to.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was kind of scared about approaching them, but it was pretty smooth in my experience. I did have 3 months to get the shop going. So one of my trades is I was installing cabinets.
All right.
Yeah, so I had that skill in my tool belt, and it helped with doing everything in the shop here. So I'm sure there is going to be things that we're going to change, we're going to improve.
Of course, yeah.
But for now, this is it.
No, it's a very nice setup.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. So what is one of the biggest misconceptions or maybe something you want to clear up for people either with guiding or fly fishing?
That's a great question. For guiding in specific, is most people think that you have to be an expert angler to book a guided trip. That's not the fact at all. So when you book a guided trip, we will teach you through the entirety of the day what works for this river. We'll go over all those courses that you can specifically book to take them in the shop or over the app. We'll cover most of that material in one of those guided trips. So we'll talk about casting, we'll talk about knots, we'll talk about entomology, we'll talk about reading the water, and whatever else there is pertaining to what you're trying to do. So that's, I'd say probably 60% of my clients are beginners when they're booking some of these trips with us. I've seen so many people where they want to try to do things on their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is you're spending so much time researching internet and this information that doesn't apply to where you are.
Right. Yes.
Or you're spending so much money on things that are not really recommended to
that don't do you any good.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So 5 years goes by and you spend thousands of dollars on gear and things that are not relevant to what you need to do, and then on top of that you have the frustration that comes with it, and then at the end you're just gonna give up. Yeah, exactly.
Before you even get started.
So we try to avoid that when you book one of those guided trips. We'll tell you what you need to get, what's relevant, what isn't.
Sounds like money well spent.
Yeah. So yes, exactly. In the long run, it's an investment, and you'll save yourself a lot of trouble and headaches that way.
Absolutely. And looking at your pricing that you've got posted online, it's very reasonable for what you're offering.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to think so. I think we're kind of in that mid-range compared to some of the other services that are out there. We are certainly cheaper than what you will pay in US. Right. Because they will charge you like $900, $800 for a trip.
Per person, probably, too.
It's per boat. So that's, I think, another reason why a lot of Americans do come here.
Totally, yeah. So speaking about like American tourism, have you seen the bookings kind of decline from the U.S., or is it maybe ramping up because of the difference in the dollar now?
It has no impact. No? I'm still getting a lot of U.S. clients for the bookings that I had so far. I was a little bit worried. I wasn't sure how the politics can impact your business. I think if people are into fly fishing or into the outdoors, they normally tend to stay away from politics.
Yes, they want to get away from that.
Yeah, they want to get away from that. Yeah, exactly. And they want something to recalibrate them. And
we've talked about this a little bit before off air when it comes to getting started, particularly in young people. So what age is appropriate for people? Because there's a lot of coordination, a lot of patience is required for it.
Right. It's a good question. And I'm afraid I can't give you a absolute answer to that one, because
just based on your experience, what you've seen so far,
it all depends on the kids. Like some kids are super passionate about it, but they struggle with following instructions and they don't have the coordination.
Totally. I've got one of those.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So but then you have other kids who are like really good at following instructions and they're coordinated, and they just naturally pick it up from the start, and they thrive in it. I would say after the age of 10, it's in my experience, is when kids usually are better with the coordination and
Yeah, it starts coming together.
yeah, it starts coming together. They actually are able to listen to your instructions, and so I think around the age of
Yeah.
10 is when things improve significantly for them.
All right, so I got some personal questions for you.
Let's hear 'em.
All right, so you just spout off what comes to your mind there. So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Ooh,
You're a little boy over in Bosnia.
yeah, I think it was an astronaut.
Is an astronaut? Yeah,
for sure.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I was going to be the first Bosnian astronaut.
Yeah. What did your parents want you to be?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
Probably just happy.
probably just happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
happy,
let's
yeah.
go with that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What was your first job?
First job was in Germany, and it was me having to clean up this van that was used for taking us to these grocery stores.
Okay.
So I was, I think, once or twice a week. That was my first job.
What's your favorite job, or what has been your favorite job?
Oh, right here.
This is it.
This is it for me, man.
Yeah.
This is my retirement plan.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I want to guide. I want to be out on the river, and you know, in the fly fishing, like for my clients, they're all Class A people. So like getting to know these individuals, it's so rewarding at the end of the day. You know, you walk in as clients, you walk out as brothers, as they
Right?
say,
Yeah.
or as friends. You get to know everyone.
What was your worst job?
Worst job.
We all have at least one.
Yeah. I think this one was in Germany where we had to. I was working on in the harbor where we had to take a fish out of the nets.
Yeah.
Dude, the smell,
I can imagine.
like it takes you like a week to get used to the smell. Every time you smell, you start to gag.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was my worst job. And
Yeah, I get that.
yeah, you're out there and it's cold. They have these tables. It's kind of like an assembly line, and so it's a net that's being dragged out of the boat, and you have to take the fish out of the net and put them in these buckets. That was my probably worst job. I had no choice. My parents were working there too, so like there's no saying no to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just suck it up. But yeah, that was. I feel like I still smell that sometimes.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine. Yeah, or every time we open a can of tuna. What you've noticed so far, because you've been out doing this 10 years out in this part of the world,
Yeah.
right? With regards to maybe the human impact of the local environment, have you seen firsthand?
I like to think that one of the main focuses, strong focuses, is for us and trying to share the knowledge. Is we are trying to also make people very aware of the ecosystem and what it entails to conserve it and preserve it, and just to make sure that our kids can thrive in
Exactly.
it and
Yeah.
use that. So we put a strong focus on that in our FFM app, and also when we are teaching people.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the things that we spend some time is how to handle the fish once it's being caught. Okay, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people just don't know how to handle the trout. So when you catch them, and when you release them, they can thrive on and live.
Right.
For
Yeah.
many
You don't want to
years.
hurt them.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt them. So we tell people, always wet your hands, use rubber nets. My rule of thumb is if they're taking a picture with it, you have 5 seconds.
Okay.
You take the fish out of the water for 5 seconds,
Right.
take a picture, put it back, and they get to live on their lives. And that's something that most people are not aware of. They don't know that, having somebody who is as a guide or somebody who's in the fly fishing industry, that we are the ambassadors for the environment that we play in. This is our livelihood.
It's your livelihood. Yes.
Yeah, we want to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy this. A lot of fish and wildlife officers, we have them as friends, and we stay in touch. If there's something that we see that's not as per regulation,
right,
we'll call them up.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, hey, there's something funky going on. So we collaborate a lot with the fish and wildlife officers in that sense. A lot of times, and I don't know how I feel about that, a lot of guys will call those individuals out themselves.
Okay.
And I've seen some fist fights.
Like guides versus guides.
No, guides versus people fishing from banks are doing something that they're not supposed to.
Okay.
Whether that's fishing with live bait or things like that.
God,
so
really?
Yeah, having a guide on your river, I think, is a really good thing for the environment.
Absolutely.
And just like I said, because we are the ambassadors for the river, and we want to make sure that it remains intact. That's the one thing that I can say, that we're not here just to catch fish or whatever.
And rape the ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. Yeah. So we're here to protect it and make sure that people are following the rules, that, because the fish and wildlife officers, they're so stretched thin.
No doubt.
The area that they have to cover, they can't cover.
They can't be everywhere all the time.
No. Exactly. Yeah. So having an extra set of eyes on the river is helpful. It doesn't cost the government anything.
That's right. No, it's a community, right?
Exactly.
I attended the Bragg Creek Wild seminar about a year ago.
Okay.
And they had Dr. Brad Stelfox, a well-known globally biologist, and he was talking about the ecosystem that we have in the Bragg Creek area, and he likened it to the Serengeti of Canada.
Okay.
Just the biodiversity and the different mammals that we have around here, and just how under pressure that is. Because we're 25 minutes from the city. Summer we got 10,000 cars coming through here on a weekly basis heading to Bragg Creek, and that puts a lot of pressure on 100%.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other point too that you just mentioned is the fishing pressure. If you're seeing somebody who's not handling the fish right, who are negatively contributing to that fishing pressure, like, we have to call those out.
Yes,
and we
absolutely.
Have to. And the thing that's valuable by having a fly shop, somebody who's coming in to purchase flies, or somebody who wants to get out on the river, we can kind of hint towards that. Did you know this?
Right.
We'll have a little pamphlet on how to handle the fish correctly, so that it does help with maintaining that order the way it should be.
Exactly.
And things can thrive on. As a fly angler, you do get a backlash from certain individuals, but that's mainly because they're not aware of it. Again, they are not aware of our catch and release process. They think we are harming the environment, and they're like, well, you wouldn't like it if I was gonna put a hook in your mouth. I'm like, I've caught so many fish with holes in their backs from blue herons, ospreys, or like the eyes missing. They have it rough out there. It's a tough life for these trout.
I can imagine.
So for them to having a quick barbless, which is something that we make sure we do, we pinch our barbs on our hooks so they're easily removed. We wet our hands. We use rubber nets.
It's the gentlest experience that fish has had today.
It's like another day in a spa for them, really, compared to what else they have to deal with. And it's been proven scientifically that if things are done the way I just explained, they get to thrive on many years after. It's not an impact to them at all.
That's good. The 2025 fishing season is open on the Bow right now?
Correct. We are booking trips for the Bow. We're doing half-day trips, full-day trips. We have 5 boats, so we can take larger groups. We can take up to 10 people. Yeah, those are fun. I like doing group trips, whether it's a family or a corporate event or something like that. Because we all float in the same proximity, and people are trash talking each other. It's fun.
A little competition.
Yeah, a little healthy competition. And full day trips, the Elbow and the Alpine River.
The Alpine River, that's right.
The Alpine River and some of the other mountain streams, they open up June 16th and it goes into October.
Beautiful. Well, Oz, thanks very much for coming on Bragging with Business.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Me,
It's been a pleasure learning about the business, learning about you, and
there you go.
And I think the future is going to be very bright for you in Bragg Creek.
I hope so. Yeah. I won't dance until the lady starts to sing.
Right on. Well, thanks very much, Oz.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Oz and River People Guides. We know he will do very well in Bragg Creek. We wish him all the best in a successful 2025 fishing season. Next week, we are shifting gears and we'll be speaking with Trish Van Sickle of PFSL, who is a local small business owner specializing in financial services like insurance and investments. She has a particular passion for helping families navigate the disability tax credit and registered disability savings plan. So if you or someone you know is in that situation in life or is unaware of some of the government programs that can assist people with disabilities or even what qualifies it as a disability, please watch and listen on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And please share, like, and follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn. For every time you do, you are helping to promote the businesses in and around Bragg Creek. Have a great week.